All right, ladies and gentlemen, my guest now on the red couch is Doug Brown. He's the head of Europe at Flexport. Doug, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks for having me. Great to be on the couch. First time here, figuring out how to sit, but
Hope it's comfortable. Very good. Doug, there has been great news from Flexport. I guess very important news for you. You acquire pretty much the logistics business of Shopify, which is very important for e-commerce. What's the rationale behind it? Why did you do it?
yeah, I think probably the best place to start there would just be to sort of describe what is our strategy as a company. I think Flexport, in my view, we've had a crystal clear strategy since our inception 10 years ago, and that is to basically reinvent, digitize the supply chain, and obviously make trade easy for everyone by enabling our customers to move goods from origin all the way to customer door or store. And pretty simply, the Shopify Logistics acquisition allows us to expedite that the final mile fulfillment piece. So that's something that we didn't have in our network, and as of last week with the announcement, and once this deal closes, then we have that. So that's the big picture.
What exactly does Shopify Logistics bring in? Is it warehouses? Is it trucks? Or what is it?
Yeah, it's a mixture of infrastructure, assets, and basically knowledge, expertise, capabilities. So to be blunt, I mean, what we're actually acquiring it's 50 warehouses, it's the technology, and it's the know-how how to do final mile fulfillment that we haven't had before. So we're very proud of the digital platform we've built to manage international freight year to date, and this is basically allows us to expedite into that final mile piece that we haven't done. So that's what we've acquired. I think like any integration, we have some work to do, right? It's going to take some time to actually integrate these capabilities, integrate these systems, but we're pretty confident. We've done our due diligence that this is something that we can actually bring on board quite quickly. And for us, it's quite exciting because now we actually can say we can offer to the door and to the with fulfillment and final mile services across the US, which is something we couldn't say a week ago.
But so far, it's exclusively the US, right?
Yeah, I mean, the capabilities, the knowledge, the technology, this is obviously something that we always build globally. You can see that in our freight platform so far. But right now, the specific capabilities that we have today, it will be specifically delivering to those consumers to the door in the US. Now, that said, we're here in Germany. You know, there's a big market. There's something that I personally feel that I would like to look more into that quickly of what we can offer our European clients. But yeah, it's mainly in the US right now.
How would you roll it out here in Europe then? Would you do it with partners then, or because I guess you will not tomorrow buy another big Shopify logistics company, right?
Well, I don't want to say anything that I'll regret saying in a couple of months, but no, you're probably right. I think right now we really need to integrate, get these capabilities, learn how this works, attach it to our existing freight, and then over time, yeah, let's see what that means for Europe.
Can you give us a figure? How important is the whole field of e-commerce for Flexport overall, for your different parts of the business?
I mean, I think everyone knows the size of the e-commerce industry. For us, I would just go back to what is our vision? What are we trying to build, right? So if we're trying to build a global, full stack, end-to-end technology platform that allows us to deliver, from origin to door for every size of customer, whether it be small, medium, or large, then you need to have those capabilities. So I think a lot of people will often refer to Flexport as a digital freight forwarder. It's fair. It's what we've mainly done for the last 10 years. We're pretty proud of what we've done. But if we want to fulfill that vision, then we need to learn those capabilities. And that's why I think last week's so exciting, because we can basically expedite that knowledge and that capability and that tech to realize it now without building it fully ourselves.
I mean, that was always pretty much what you were brand marked as, right? A digital forwarder. And of course, for the first couple of years, I guess that was something you could live pretty well with. But I mean, you have this big platform and you're not a traditional forwarder. What exactly is Flexport kind of?
It's a good question. It's not the first time I've been asked it. I think a couple of things here. I really liked, actually, Dave Clark, our relatively new CEO at TPM, answered this really well, where he said, we're actually okay being misunderstood for a while because we're actually trying to reinvent, we're trying to disrupt. So if you're doing that on a global end-to-end scale, then people might want to pigeonhole you in one thing or the other. The fact is, our journey is a journey. Right now, digital freight forwarding, the international piece, is what we've really done, and what we're quite proud to say we've actually done very, very well. Do we have aspirations to do more? Absolutely. So this is why I think if you look at the Shopify one is just one example, but we've also said this year we're trying to hire 400 software engineers. We're actually way ahead of plan on that, and we want to build products to market also for, not just for the SMBs like Shopify is looking at, but for more of the enterprises that are probably in an event like this. So that would be 4PL, it would be order management, visibility. So bringing that value proposition and that platform experience you get if you move flexport freight today, regardless of who you want to move that freight with tomorrow. So that's where we're going. I think it's fair to say that digital freight forwarding is what we've done. It's the bulk of our revenues. But I just go back to that vision and that strategy that we have, that we want to go further. We want to go either side. We want to go into the PO management, the order management, and the visibility, all the way from origin to final door. And then we want to go into the final mile and fulfillment, which the Shopify acquisition is an example of that.
I mean, e-commerce is a big growing business all over the world, but on the other hand, of course, here in Europe especially, machinery, all these kind of branches are very important as well. Do you get an angle on that as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really good question when you're asking what does Shopify logistics acquisition mean for flexport. So for flexport, I feel I've answered that. For Europe, we're not 10 years old, we're 6 to 7 years old, and we have a lot to do. We've been in the German market for 4 years, and we're starting to do a lot more business with, as you said, industrial, automotive. Our value proposition is not just for fashion companies, it's not just for e-commerce. It's really, I mean, if you're looking for default SKU level visibility as a default service offering, the segments you mentioned are equally as important for us.
I mean, talking about people, you mentioned the 400 software engineers you were hiring. On the other hand, a couple of people had to leave the company, quite a lot actually, last year. Has this process been done now, or are you still within it?
No, so that was actually in Q1 this year. It was not an easy decision, tough decision. It was a strategic restructuring to basically look at, unfortunately, where we were overstaffed. And now, yeah, as you say, that's to answer your question, yes, that's complete. Never a nice thing to do. We're not, immune to these economic headwinds. And I think when you're a tech company like ourselves, the growth that you're growing at, you probably feel these things more keenly than maybe a company with a bigger history. That's complete. I would say quite a smooth transition. And as I said, I think we're well ahead of our software engineer hiring, both in Europe and in North America, to bring those technology products to market this year and next year.
Were you able to hire all these people in a decent time? I'm asking because, of course, I mean, logistics is a branch where not all software engineers would raise their arm in the first hand, right, to work there.
So, a couple of things. You'll find I'm usually quite candid. I think a couple of things assist us in that. I think Dave Clark joining makes us a much more attractive tech company. It's something that he's brought based on what he's done before. We have a very clear strategy. And I think, to be honest, that the market does lend itself. If you look at what's happened out there in other tech companies, there are a lot of software engineer talent globally that are looking for an interesting vision to join. And I think if you look at what we're trying to do, and as you say, do it very, very quickly, it's quite an attractive proposition.
I mean, 400 software engineers will cost you quite a lot of money. They want to earn a decent salary, I would guess. What do you think about AI? Is that an option for the logistics industry to really get more into that?
Yeah, it's something that I think everyone in this fair is actively investigating. I think the positive answer to that would be yes, of course. We're looking at that. We're looking at how we can use it internally as well. Looking at how our operators around the world can use that to make them more efficient. We're looking at when it comes to customer-facing tech like predictive transit times, etc., etc. But the one thing I always say, I always remember when Ryan, our founder, he was often asked about blockchain, and he said, "Hey guys, look, we haven't done a great job of structuring all of the data in this very old industry now. And we're still on that journey. So of course we're looking at AI and how we can bring it in, but we're also honest with ourselves that there's a lot of work now to do just to bring in all of the data sets that come into a shipment, which will touch 15 to 20 parties on any one time.
Do you see it any time in the future that kind of a supply chain is steering itself by itself?
I mean, that's the dream. I think I can tell you that the way we build our tech globally, it's always with the thought of self-serve first. So ideally, our clients will be onboarding, they will be quoting, they will be pricing, they will be moving their freight with limited touches. We're not there yet. We're getting better. But yeah, ultimately, that's where we would love to get to.
Well, we wait and see, and are all very curious about that. Thank you very much, Doug Brown. Thank you.
Thanks, Sebastian.